how would you define modern CRO to me?
Um,
What is modern
well,
CRO
modern
to you?
CRO knows 6-7, right? I mean,
Keeping it 100 on the land and the sea? Okay.
I will ask you the questions
Okay.
this time around, and we'll see how this goes, and let me know. All right, how people, teams, and agencies succeed in modern CRO.
So
How do
many
you
of these
succeed?
questions just like, make me laugh because they're so broad. I don't even know where to begin. And I'm like, I immediately have 10 more questions rather than an answer. It's like, what is modern CRO versus unmodern CRO?
Well, yeah, it's true. I guess you have more tools now. Um,
True.
more, more tools, more people. People know stats a little bit better now. Um, yeah, you don't have to.
Okay. Um, I'll try
So
to answer.
your agency
Mm-hmm.
qualify. You're modern. Look at you, so modern.
Super modern. Okay, one thing that comes to mind immediately that we've been talking about over here in terms of my agency, um, and that I see in the wild as well, that agencies still kind of force clients into these like pretty drawn out scoping periods and audits that people just don't like really want anymore or have time. And it's kind of like, if you're at a point where you want to hire an agency, it's like, I need help now. I don't need you to like take 90 days to scope out what the problems are and whatever. So
Yeah,
that's how we've been trying to approach things as well, is like, okay, we need to, if we get hired, we need to help immediately with something at least. Like, and of course, there's like a learning period and whatever, like, you can't get around that. But
yeah,
if you have experience in this field, you should be able to identify something where you can fill the gaps, like in the first couple of weeks at least.
yeah. I have a high degree of guilt. Getting up to speed with a customer. I
Oh,
know it makes
same.
no sense. I'm like, they hired me, and I want to have them retain me. I'd like them to stick around. I need to deliver something tomorrow. I'm like, no, you can't. You can't. What do you do? You can't even access Slack.
Hmm. I mean,
How do you
like,
access anything?
especially with bigger, more complicated organizations where the product is like hyper technical or there's a lot of journeys involved. Like, we've had a client that we've been working with like almost 2 years now, and we've been,
Goodness.
helping them build experimentation, and it's like been going great. But every single month, there is still something that we learn about how they function, or like
Yeah,
that we hadn't like been inserted to yet, or something that is like new to us, right? So
yeah.
it's like, I don't know, you can't get around that really.
So in terms of succeeding, what are
Succeeding.
so basically delivering stuff as quick as you can, being
Hmm.
ready, be ready to deliver value. Is there anything else that you've done to succeed in the modern CRO age, unlike the ancient CRO age of 2015?
Like, how, okay, how would you define modern CRO to me?
Um,
What is modern
well,
CRO
modern
to you?
CRO knows 6-7, right? I mean,
Keeping it 100 on the land and the sea? Okay.
I don't know. I think it's just a shortcut for today's CRO, instead of the old where no one was doing it.
Mm. Okay, I guess, yeah, there's a lot more people doing it. There's a lot more airtime. People know more about it. If I think back even 5 years, most people couldn't even really differentiate between CRO, SEO, what even is it? So
Yeah,
nowadays it's like at least more people know about it. So maybe succeeding in here means that it is more spread out through different departments in organizations, and that you can sort of successfully collaborate with different departments
So you're a little
Um,
bit more versed in the different groups and able to have meaningful conversations with across the board, basically.
yeah, and include them in, hypothesis generation and like your testing program, and not just operating within your little silo of like, oh, I'm doing experiments by myself on somebody's website. It's like, no, it's a team effort.
And
And
how
you
do
have
you deal with a stakeholder that comes up with like the worst ideas ever? I want to hear how Gerda handles those situations.
diplomatically, I would I would start talking about prioritization immediately. It's like,
Well,
we
listen, this is a
already
bonehead idea. Everyone does this. We should do this. This is instant money.
um yeah, then just like trying to dig deeper, I guess, of like, okay, but we have these North Star metrics we have agreed upon for the year, and like, what does quick money mean, and how do we know it's true, and like, how do we measure it, and all these other questions that usually kind of make them think of like, okay, it's not that much of a quick win. There's more work needed to be done before we can implement any of this.
So you just kind of wave your hand and you go, look over there.
Yeah, basically like distract with something else.
Distract. Cool. So how should beginners break into CRO today, and what skills matter most early on? I'm too old to answer this now,
I
potentially.
think we had a very, very similar, it wasn't the same question, but we had a very, very similar one in one of our earlier episodes
So
where we
are we
talked
skipping
about
this, or do you have any new thoughts?
um good question. I mean, I in general, I think my answer is the same. Like, try to build something of your own on the side, that would show that you're a creative problem solver. Like, start your own website or some kind of project that you can have in your portfolio, because it's pretty hard to have a portfolio as a CRO, because a lot of,
You don't come in with
especially
a
if you don't have
partnership.
experience at all.
You don't
Sorry,
come
what?
in with a little book with your. You ever have you ever done that? Like back in the day when I used to do design and photography, there used literally was a big binder of stuff. Look at the shit that I did.
I'm actually trying to implement on our website right now, like a portfolio section where I just like link every single podcast and article that I've ever
Oh,
done.
nice, smart.
So at least there's something. Um, but yeah, I was just even thinking like the stuff that you're building on the side, the job board or whatever, like that's not something that you need to do or you have to do. It's just something
Yeah,
that you're doing that's cool and that you can always like present to somebody like, hey, I built this thing from scratch, right?
yeah, yeah. I think building your own thing is probably the way to go. If you don't have your own website, then are you really in the space?
Mm-hmm.
Does that mean? Well, I think you need to have some sort of presence and some sort of knowledge of the tools. So building something on your own probably is in your best interest. Um, I think otherwise you're just bugging people like me and you probably. And hey, can you do a 10-minute coffee chat? And you end up on a call talking about life and career choices.
Mhm.
Yeah, you must do those once in a while.
Once in a while, yeah, if the like purpose is clear and if the person just seems interesting enough to me, and like I get the vibe that they genuinely want to chat, not just sell me something, because that's the other
Oh,
thing on LinkedIn is like every
yeah.
other DM that I get is like I can already tell that there's a sales pitch coming and I'm not gonna go on a free call for that, right?
I feel I have the worst approach to this sort of like I've done this a lot for growth and product, and people reach out to me, hey, how can I start out in XYZ career? And I talk to them, and I think maybe it's the worst approach, but early on when I used to do this, I used to convince them not to do it, whatever it was.
Okay.
You know, product. Why would you want to do product? Everyone's mad at you. You own nothing. You have to deliver on
Mhm.
everything. You know, just to gauge their passion.
That's
It's
a
like
good point.
I really, yeah, but what about this? What about that? I'm like, okay, well, since you want to make a go of it, you should XYZ. You should think about this. So that's probably. Have you ever watched House, the TV
Mhm.
show House? Yeah, it's a kind of similar situation where you emphasize the bad, try to get to the good. Anyway,
Right.
it's a bit of a
Yeah, and
tangent.
you built a directory of people who are like coaching other people too, and some of them even do it for free and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah, lots of
So
some folks you know even are on that
yep,
board. Some folks you know.
yeah.
They're on it. Yeah, if folks wanna book some time with these kind people, it's on experimentation.com somewhere. I don't know exactly where anymore. I've revamped that site so many times that, it's probably buried, but if you SEO it, or if you Google it, whatever, you can find it.
Hmm.
Um, okay. Hi, this is Romo Santiago from Experiment Nation. If you'd like to connect with hundreds of experimenters from around the world, consider joining our Slack channel. You can find the link in the description. Now back to the episode. How can a new CRO or experimentation agency win RFPs without a deep backlog of results?
I hate like acronyms. I never know anything what they mean.
Request for proposal, i.e.,
Right.
I want stuff done. What the hell do you do?
Okay, so how to win the client basically, right?
Yeah, and like you don't have a like this sounds like someone who's starting out,
Mhm.
agency work,
Uh,
whatever, and they don't have a dog
Not
track.
necessarily. Also, it's like a lot of the clients that you work with, they require NDAs and you can't really publish anything that you do anyway. So
True.
that's another major challenge of our industry.
So you're saying
I
law. Got it.
honestly, yeah, I honestly think that this comes down to like personal connections and just
Yeah,
like, is the vibe good? Do the people like you or not? Like most of our clients come through referrals.
yeah,
So by the time they get to us, it's not even like obviously we still have to sell ourselves and kind of prove that we're the right fit for them. But at the
yeah.
end of the day, it's not about like manipulating somebody into a working relationship with you. It's a mutual conversation and sanity vibe check. If like, okay,
Yeah.
do both parties feel that this is going to be mutually beneficial or not? And that's that.
But that relationship part is actually a big one, especially if you don't have. I mean, you're going to lose if you're going to being compared to folks with a lot of history and things that they've done and accolades. Um, so it's probably in your best interest to make those relationships be real with them or connect to them ahead of time in some way.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, yeah,
Yeah, and it's like also like we have had we've won contracts with really big companies where they considered other much bigger agencies with like all these case studies and whatever that are publicly available, but they didn't go with them at the end of the day because they just liked us better.
mm.
And why? That's kind of like I can't really answer that, or like it's not a thing that somebody else can replicate. It's just like the time was right, the vibe was right. We just made a connection and it worked
So
out.
when do you consider leveraging blackmail?
In terms of what?
Blackmailing them to sign on, getting dirt in their lives and threatening them with making that. Is that later on, or is that early in the process?
Uh That literally has never even crossed my mind. It's
Okay, me
like,
neither.
I
Me
don't
neither.
need to resort to those methods. At
Yeah,
least I haven't yet.
that's an
So,
advanced class um, for later on, I suppose.
yeah, I guess so.
All right. Um, as CRO expands, should it include retention and advocacy, and how does that change team and agency models? It's a longer term.
So, what does it mean? Does it mean that like we don't see CRO as a one-off project and we just kind of keep doing it? Or what do you think retention and
It's
advocacy means here?
I think what it means is instead of getting the person to buy immediately, it's having them continue to use the product or purchase again, come back and tell other folks, kind of like
Mm,
referral and jazz. And you don't really see CRO focus on that because it's usually focused on ROI now, kind of like a fix my problems today. Um,
mm-hmm.
usually product and support focus on retention, growth sometimes. Well, growth should. So I guess the question is, as CRO overlaps with all these other teams, uh, how does that change team and agency model? Do you think there's a world where your agency will start going and focus on retention as a service, as a you know?
Yeah, this is like I've seen people now almost like advocate against it or something that
Oh,
an
okay,
agency I'm not saying this is my perspective because
yeah,
I don't think it is. Some people seem to think that an agency collaboration should be very short-lived, sort of like in and out, like help them set some stuff up and then eventually they
I lose you
own
again.
their own work, which is right. Like that's the approach we take as well, that we're always there to kind of like hand off all the information, all the skills to train the internal team up. But okay, and you're gone again.
A few minutes later.
That was a great answer.
Honestly, this question is tripping me up a lot. Like I'm struggling to it's like
um,
one of those things again that could mean so many different things.
yeah, I
And depending on whose perspective you're looking at it from.
I, I think there's a problem. I think the way that CRO agencies are set up right now, they don't have the levers for retention. Not really. Like, why does someone come back? They're delighted by the product or the service, and they want more of it.
Mhm.
CRO is often not in charge of the core product, the core value. So that means an expansion. And who's going to let an agency in to tinker with the actual product? Like, it's maybe they can do some sort of audit, but there's product consultants for that sort of thing. Um, so no, I don't think it should. I think you could offer it. I think it'll be hard. If you get in it, great, good for you. You probably have some product folks, dev folks that are, top tier because they can understand any tech stack in a heartbeat. But I think it'll be really tough to expand that direction unless you have like a product of your own, maybe that you can implement and gain insights. I don't know if there's any products you can think out that does that. Um, so I think it'd be a tough ask for them to expand into that area.
Yeah, I don't know. Like we do product experimentation as well quite a bit. And like sometimes it also works out for the company in the sense that if they would internally have to hire somebody really good full time, it's first of all, it's extremely expensive. Second of all, it's very complicated to find somebody who is like at a really good level at that who can just like come in and hit the ground running and start helping them versus if they hire like an agency that can deliver with multiple people already within the team and kind of, be an external set of eyes and not get torn into the internal politics so much. And also just
Yeah,
have, yeah, multiple skill sets in terms of people available for the same amount of money, essentially. So sometimes it works out like that. Okay. How do teams avoid confirmation bias when insight pressure is high?
uh, there's always there are ways. Um, I've read ways that you can do this. Hide hide the name of the data, like the label on the data, and yeah, and you show the results, and you kind of like, okay, well, this one looks like it's performing better. Just variant A, variant B, what have you. This is doing better here. Just bring it here. Very cold, and then you bring in which one it was. Kind of like, don't let them have preconceived notions ahead of time. Let them look at the data. But in my experience, everyone's looking at this data every day, every hour. Um, especially if you have product people involved and they're always looking at it. I can't get away from that. They're always going to want to ship what works for them, and it's always this is going to be a very nuanced answer because a product manager has to do a lot of things, and sometimes some things are strategic. And I always, when I used to support a lot of product managers, I used to try to keep in mind this person's trying to keep their job. So from a consultant's role, you could go in there, go, "Fuck you, who cares?" When you're working with them in the same company, you're like, "Well, I want you to stick around. I like you. I want you to do good work, but I understand your jam." Um, so you try to get them to see that maybe their work wasn't the right thing, and to try to make them come up with a story to get them out of that. That's a little bit of a ramble. I'd love to hear how you deal with this.
Um, First of all, it makes me think of quantum physics. Because
Okay,
like,
it's
isn't
interesting.
I'm going to butcher this, but there's a thing where they figured out that basically any experiment that you do is
Yeah,
influenced by the experimenter or the observer. Like, it
yeah,
is impossible to have like a realistic result without you as the experimenter influencing the direct result.
yep.
And like, if real world scientists have accepted that and figured it out, it's always funny to me how people in A/B testing and experimentation pretend like they're doing real science. Or like that them as people don't influence the results like at all or something.
Okay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how much is CRO a real science? This is
Zero.
going to be 0. Oh, interesting. I don't think it's 0. Maybe 3.
Okay, maybe three. Um,
I think actually during the time of the experiment, it's a 7 or 8. The second it's
okay.
outside of the experiment, the market conditions change and the product changes and the customer changes and the market everything changes, and it's not as valid as it used to be.
Hmm.
It's very temporal. Um, I
Yeah,
forgot.
so I guess the answer is that realistically you don't get away from confirmation bias because it's always there anyway.
Yeah, so my answer is yeah, to hide the variation ahead of time. Try to look at the data objectively. Um, but yeah, it's really hard to get away from confirmation bias. Just you try to convince them that this is not the right way and help them build a story if they need to sell
Hmm.
it to some stakeholder.
Yeah, and have multiple different people maybe look at the results and kind of
Yeah, that's
not
true too.
trust
If
in one person.
that's actually a great point. If you get their other stakeholders, their bosses, particularly in the same room, suddenly you get a little bit more objective. That's a great point. Yes, ma'am.
Um, what does good experiment structure actually look like beyond templates and best practices?
Structure?
Structure.
You mean like defining a good hypothesis and
I guess
understanding the
so.
variables so I'm trying to. I mean, anything could be a template, I guess. Um, did I don't know. I know, but I don't know how to answer the question. Where experimentation is, there's two halves to it, right? There's the design of it and there's the analysis of it, and you can structure how you run the experiment, what variables you hold versus how you analyze it. So I'm not sure how to I'm not sure how to answer this. And you can go into the politics of it. There's a lot of politics. There's a lot of change management. There's a lot of team building around it. Um, there's tooling. There's tech. I don't know. It sounds like someone just came in the room and went, "What the fuck is all the CRO shit?" And then we're like,
Uh,
"Oh well, the stuff."
yeah, it's interesting how much of our industrial related topics and questions are just like, well, it depends. And you can look at this thing from a million different angles and perspectives. And there's really not a single right answer to anything. And if somebody is telling you that there is, then they're probably lying or trying to sell you something.
So if I were going to add, what is would a CRO be on that stuff? It's timing. A lot of it's about timing.
Mhm.
Are you at the right time at the company? Are you running the experiment at the right time? Are people open to listening to things? Um,
Okay, but if we dial it down to like a single experiment structure
sure.
specifically,
Yes.
which I'm still not sure if this question is about that, but I think it is.
Hmm.
Probably like tracking as well and the technical side of it, making
Hmm.
sure that things are tracked properly. Because more often than not, when you're looking at numbers in your testing tool, analytics, you're looking at like some kind of tracking errors instead of real user
Yeah,
behavior. So that's a really critical part, other than like, making sure that your hypothesis is formed correctly and all
that's a
that.
good point. The technicalities of tracking the data, ensuring that things are tracked properly. A lot of sanity check. There's a little bit of experience that goes into it where you're looking at the data and something in you goes, no, something something's weird. This should have been better.
Mhm.
And that's a little bit of experience going on where you kind of have a feel of this should have been doing better. Not even better. You should be seeing a signal by now, um, or you know, it's displaying at a weird rate.
Mhm.
Documentation's another big one. I mean, I say it a lot. I'm very big on documentation. It's like if you don't document it, then you can't cover your ass later. It's a little bit of cover your ass in experimentation too, where you're going to recommend the thing and the thing may not work out. You should have some documentation around why it was a good decision at the time, and everyone agreed on it. So
Mhm.
yeah, um,
Agreed. Okay, let's do like two more. Then I really gotta go put some
I'm
cookies
tired
in
of
the
you
oven
too,
and
Griffin.
lie down.
I'm so all right. So you pick the two.
Okay. Let me see here. How do you deal with or feel about internal workplace cultures that place more value on SEO than CRO?
I feel okay with it. Next question.
You're okay with it? That is shocking to me. Explain.
What? Well, I mean, different companies have different growth models and different levers they can pull, different strengths. I mean, SEO tends to connect to CRO just naturally. You track the traffic. What are you gonna do with the traffic? Show them baby pictures? No, you want to convert them and make them do a thing, grow the company. So I mean, SEO is fairly important to CRO. Got to get them on the page, um, and they're both fit somewhat under growth. So I don't have a problem with it. Um, it just depends on the company. Some places are really good at SEO already, technical SEO and content strategy. They don't need to do anything there, and they need to focus on zero. Other places, the opposite. So I'm not that mad.
Mm. Yeah, I guess it's the whole like leaky bucket thing. Like if you just focus on SEO and whatever, only
Mhm.
get traffic, but you don't think about what to do with that traffic and it just bounces, then what's the value really?
Right? You don't want no SEO pro just wants any traffic. They want good traffic. They want the ones that stick that result in. I mean, SEO folks are getting fairly sophisticated in measuring the impact, the causal impact
Mhm.
stuff from Google and different. They're running A/B tests on their own. Not quite the same way we're doing. They're not randomizing the person. They're randomizing on, let's say, the browser visit, the crawler visit, but they're still running tests on their own. But yeah, I agree. Like if you're just collecting bad traffic, then you probably should let go of your SEO person. Um,
Yeah, but I don't know, my experience has also been that like most of the companies in terms of traffic and whatever, they're more obsessed with ads. And like this is also such a broken record topic for me. I post about it like once a month, how people spend like five figures a month on ads and ad traffic, and then they're like haggling over a couple of $1,000s for like a CRO or whatever.
mhm.
And I've had a client where they were driving so much TikTok traffic and we were pretty excited to like do testing on it and stuff, and it was all such low intent, low quality traffic that we couldn't even get them to like click anything or,
Hmm, hmm.
And then just like the amount of money that you spend on it, it's astronomical. So yeah, I
It's just
think I agree with you that if the company is more focused on SEO, that's even better because yeah, those people are like more concerned with the outcomes of converting that traffic. Whereas in my experience, and maybe this is again totally wrong, like a lot of the ads people that we see on projects, um, they're not responsible for converting any of that traffic, which is crazy to me.
that's generally the case. Depends on where, I feel, but the way that this is totally just my observations, but I feel that in an executive's head, they see marketing spend, SEO spend, paid spend, um, as a lever, right? It's a lever that works. The CRO is a lever that's a gamble. You don't know if it's going to work. You don't. It's like there is kind of like this percentage win rate, percentage conversion, percentage lift. You don't really know if that's going to come, but they know whether if they dump more, relatively speaking, if they dump more in the paid stuff, that it should increase revenue or what have you.
Hmm.
Obviously, the more you spend, the more traffic turns to shit anyway, just naturally. So there is this counterbalance to it. Um, but yeah, I think it's just simpler for an executive to go, yeah, that's the thing. They'll pay more of the thing. This experiment. I don't know because it's
Hmm.
they don't do the math necessarily. If Because if I can double my paid budget and I could probably get close to double revenue, maybe less. Um, I can double my CRO budget, but I'm not going to get double the conversion. You know, but I
Yeah.
look pretty hard.
Yeah, especially like in e-com as well. I think it's like everybody by now sort of knows that to be successful at e-com, you have to run ads. Like there's kind of no way around that, but
Yeah,
you don't have to do CRO and A/B testing. You should, but you don't have to the same way that you have to run ads. Like
it's
your ad
simpler.
traffic would yeah, convert better if you had a CRO next to it helping convert that traffic.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's kind of people think of it as this binary thing, I think.
just simpler. I've learned
Mhm.
that at higher levels, it's less about the actual details. It's more about the conceptual model of, can I just pull that lever,
Mhm.
direct lever to growth, and unfortunately, that's what they do. See, I told you, not happy Romeo. It's always he's back.
Like, are we even giving advice or answering these questions? We're just like talking about our own experience of what went
Yeah,
wrong
and I think that's
in the
valid.
same category.
I don't think that having so a lot of these questions don't have real answers, and it's all situational,
Yeah.
right? And I think sharing our experience and thoughts on this is still valid. Does it answer the question? No, but it gives them more to think about.
Mhm.
Uh, I feel better after, so I'm okay.
Yeah. Let's hope so. Somebody out there finds this valuable. Deep question for experienced users.
Oh crap.
How to practically navigate the hyper personalized plugins that brands are more and more selling for websites and apps. I've had customers legit ask me, will the whole site be different for each customer with this? What are the approaches folks have for clearly educating on the value and rolling out better deliveries?
Okay, I got to break this down. Um,
So,
Plugins for personalization, essentially.
essentially, yes.
And the question is, how do I navigate that world?
Yeah, and like clients and customers specifically expecting that if you implement a plugin for personalization, every person on their website will see like their own experience or something like that.
That's a tough way to increase conversions, though. Um, there's like personalization. Personalization is like a spectrum where you have your hyper personalization, the one-on-one, and I find that kind of model the hardest to optimize for. You need a lot of data, and there's a lot of how you, what do you measure against. While segmented audience based personalization is a little bit easier. So you could group people together and go, all you folks are going to see the same thing. As well as I find one-on-one personalization, it's a harder thing to frame with a story. You know, like why am I seeing this version of the content? Just cause. While the other one, there's actually a hypothesis around that audience where you're going, oh, well, the people who bought this like that. Um, so how do you navigate it? I like typically maybe just back off. You know, like s- you shouldn't be personalizing on more than like I don't know 5 to 7 audiences per stage. In my opinion, otherwise it gets really hairy. And how do you even measure the impact of hyper personalization without a serious data science? I'm just kind of rambling. I'd love to hear your thoughts.
No, my answer is the same, that like just don't focus on crazy amounts of personalization, especially before you've even covered the basics. Because
Yeah,
like the personalization, like there are already so many crazy variables that influence everything on your website. And then if you purposefully introduce more, it's like your site will eventually
yeah,
break because there is no realistic way where you can QA all of these experiences.
yeah,
And it's just one of those things again where people think that, oh, they're being like advanced and doing like, I don't know, something good, when in reality it's like, just take a look at your your homepage and figure out if people can even tell what you're selling. Like, let's start
yeah.
from the basics. Like, not most people can't even get that right. So, yeah,
The the way I see it is like you have this funnel, you're optimizing this funnel, and eventually you're going to find places that it's broken. And that's typically when you start to think, oh, maybe there's some audience stuff happening here. Let's look at the stage and see what groups of people, and maybe I can start personalizing here so I can start tweaking their conversion rate at the a particular stage of the funnel. If you go straight to hyper personalization, then it's like it's madness. Um,
yeah.
and most of us aren't working on sites where we can handle that kind of thinking. I can,
Hmm.
I, like,
Yeah, we can barely handle handle A versus B. We can't handle more.
yeah, I just talk them off the ledge. Talk about basics. Do simple A/B
Hmm.
tests. Then start drilling into different funnel stages. Try personalizing on the user stages or mature or what have you, whatever segments you got that makes sense at that stage, and start testing on those before you start rolling out anything big. Cover those first before you get into this. Is cheaper. It's cheaper anyway. The doing one-on-one is not exactly the simplest thing to do.
Hmm. Agreed. Feel free to keep talking. I have to plug in my computer before it dies.
Okay. So, I'm just talking to myself here. This is gonna be a great segment for the episode where I'm having a conversation with myself. How's it going?
I was really hoping for something more substantial, but
I remember at a company I used to work at where we used to do kind of like these weekly all hands type meetings where people presented stuff they were working on. That's kind of cool that the company should know. And the way the format was, there was usually a host of the hour,
hmm.
and they'd interview the people that came up that had something to say. And the person's internet went out. They completely went out, and I was the guest. Um, but I knew the questions already because I was prepped. Obviously, I'm not going to be not prepped, so I knew the questions. So I literally interviewed myself in doing this type of bullshit. Uh, yeah, maybe I could have done that.
I've had a similar experience where as a junior CRO, I was like kind of like more an assistant on the call, and there was a senior CRO leading the client call, and they were at a different country from me and in the middle of the most like crucial presentation while they're talking through super complicated stats and stuff. They
Yeah,
just like drop off the call, and I'm there like the next in command, sort of having to like pick it up and deal with it for like 10 minutes before, and like never knowing if they're going to come back at all or what's going to
come here.
happen. So
Just as my colleague was. That was the no. Are you still there? Are you, can you
Yep, that was me.
and you just freeze, and then everyone thinks like, oh no, this person's
Mhm.
gonna hang up the call and dial in, and you reschedule when the connection's better. Not that I
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, not that it took already, like, 2 months to get all these, like, 20 stakeholders together
Oh
and
my god,
find a time across, like, 5 time zones and whatever.
that's pretty dope though. 20 stakeholders for experimentation. That's I don't think I've seen that before for one test. It's
No, it was just more like a presentation of, I don't know, quarterly stuff or something like that. I forget,
uh,
but
awesome. That's cool.
yeah.
All right, ma'am. Where we go from here? There's
Wow,
podcasting.
amazing insights today, Romil.
Thanks. You too.
Great
We
work.
we high five.
Um, yeah, so outro. Still haven't figured out how to do an outro.
That's
Thanks
okay.
again for
Uh,
submitting questions to
we should
everybody
ask
who
people
did.
to submit outros.
Yeah,
That's
for
the
sure.
in the questionnaire in this form. It says, "How would you end a podcast? What should we say? What's how should we end every episode?" That
I
I'm
look
scared
forward
of
to
the.
those
I'm
submissions.
scared of. I'm scared of those responses. I'll try that next time.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, yeah. See you next time.
Let's get chatting. Uh, no, we'll see you next episode. Our new book, Prove It or Lose It, the mostly no-nonsense guide to surviving experimentation program drama is out now. Find it at experimentation.com and all major bookstores today.